Good evening, everyone. This is Nancy, and I'm Carrie, and if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, we are Dean's younger sisters. Some might say considerably younger sisters. Some might not. But we are. So we are so grateful to be able to be here this evening and to express our tremendous love for our oldest brother and Therese. We are so grateful to both of you for having us all here this evening celebrating such a special event. You know, Nance and I have had the opportunity last night and today to reminisce about what it's like to have Dean as a brother.
Well, thank you very much.
Two words come to mind: awesome and daunting. I mean, he really set the bar, as you can imagine. He really set the bar for both of us as far as all of his achievements, academically, through his extemporaneously. I mean, can you imagine? We haven't even started high school yet, and Dean is winning national awards as a competitive extemporaneous speaker. And that was just the beginning. And then he went to undergrad. Well, he went to Ivy League undergrad, and then on to law school. And then, the best of all, he bought a fire truck, because that's what you do. So we had a brother who owned a fire truck and had a law degree. So anyhow, doesn't everybody?
You got those in the wrong order again?
And I practiced.
But we promise we won't tell any stories, but he would be just like a typical male and be two sisters who share a bathroom with him throughout as we were growing up. And you can only imagine, but we love him to death. And I think all of you know it, and it's an honor to have an older brother. It really is. And we're so happy to gain Therese into our family, and it's been a great day.
So the two of us wish you joy, happiness, peace, and great love. And if anyone wants to ask Dean about Lance Lovelace, that's up to you. So, God bless you both.
And it's not
So through 30 years, I have discovered not to follow either of them in the speech. So I'm going to pass this real quickly on to whoever else would like to come up. Right now I'm looking at my Uncle Ron. I assume this is going to be your time.
Whomever.
Yep.
Whomever.
Well, I guess it's my time, but I'm not making a nickel on it.
Back in your day, a nickel got a Frankfurter.
And this is my godson.
You could have smothered it.
Classically trained. Yes, we could have smothered him back there. Well, I consider myself a very fortunate person to have been a dear friend of Dean's for decades. And I have to say that ever since Therese came into his life, I could not help but notice how consistently happy he has been, and even persistently. And I have to admit that on one or two occasions, annoying, at our weekly lunches, sometimes I would have to sort of pat him on the hand and say, "Calm down, she's a human." But I did little to dissuade him, and I'm glad that I didn't. So, as an honorary Richards, it turns out that if you were around when Dick and Carol were around, if you were a friend of any of their children, you became an honorary Richards. They treated my wife Kathy and I as though we were their own children. And we, as all of you, miss them very much, and it's sad that they're not here to join us tonight. But as an honorary Richards, I want to welcome Therese to the family, and in even more than an honorary position than I am. So, pass this
Uh-oh.
A brave soul.
Very brave.
Soldiers
The
for
ladies'
liberty.
room is that way.
No,
I
no,
think right. Hi, my name is Beth, and I didn't prepare anything, so please bear with me if I start crying or whatever. Therese and I have known each other since 1983. We've been best of friends since then. We've shared lots and lots of good times and some bad times along the way. There you go.
All right, here I am. I told you I'm not very good at this, but that's really loud. Okay, Greg, we're.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, maybe I'll just talk really loud. And so, I just want to tell Therese and Dean how incredibly happy that Tim and I and our family are to see you and Dean together. As I said, I've seen Therese through lots of good and bad times, and the time she's had now with Dean, we've just felt like they were so meant for each other, and to see them together now, we're really happy. And okay, we got that on the system. You know, I know a lot of you here have known Dean, and have only known Therese for a short time, but she is the most fabulous giving person I've ever known in my life. And I know that she's going to continue to give Dean all of herself forever. And I hope they have many, many years together. And from the short length of time we've known Dean, he's been like part of our family. My kids love him, our kids love him, and he's just been somebody we feel like we've known forever. So to both of you, congratulations and the best for many, many years to come. Greg?
Yep.
You know, I've introduced myself to a lot of you that I didn't know before tonight, and my name's Dolly, and my husband is Charlie Emerson. And we've both known Therese for a very, very long time. And when Chuck and I got transferred to Arizona, I called her up and said, I'm moving to Arizona. And I said, I know I haven't seen you for a long, long time, but I'd sure like to see you again. And she took me under her wing. And she had just gotten through a very difficult time in her life physically. And she was there for me. She took me to water aerobics, and she took me around town and showed me all of Scottsdale. I had never stepped foot in the state of Arizona before 1995. And we just became really very, very good friends. And I introduced her to some friends that I had already made, and one of them was Diane, that's here. Some of you have met Diane. And we had a whole group of girls, and Nancy and Carrie, you met a lot of our friends from Arizona when you came to the shower. And anyway, we all became fast friends. And I couldn't be happier for you, my dear friend, Therese, to have met Dean. And I have to tell a cute little story. Therese, were we in Wisconsin or were we in Arizona when that happened? When we went. We went to the Wisconsin game.
Oh, Arizona.
Okay. So I'm in Arizona. I want to go to the Wisconsin game, and so because I'm from Wisconsin originally, and So Therese and I had tickets. And she said, oh, by the way, I've met this new guy, and his name is Dean, and do you mind if he tags along with us? And so we had tickets together, and of course, he didn't have a seat with us, but he managed to move his way up. And
Imagine that.
the three of us went to the game together, and I said to Therese, I said, you've met your soulmate. And, yep. And so, end of story. So, I couldn't be happier. We couldn't be happier for you, all of us.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
We're gonna make sure this one does.
Hello everyone, my name's Patrick. I was raised in the Wisconsin Dells. And my wife Renee at table number 6 accompanies me tonight. I just want to tell you a little bit about being at the Dells. One of the biggest surprises for our town, who annually lost many basketball games. Finally got a head basketball coach that knew what he was doing. And his name was Al Horn. And the photographer here tonight is Therese's sister, Julie, and Julie and I were in the same class of 73! Thank you. At any rate, years later I move on out to Arizona, and I find out that Therese is out there. And we link up for lunch here and there, and over time, the younger Horn girl, I get to know better and better, and grew to love her. There was a series of boyfriends I also had that challenge of trying to love, and I couldn't.
Does anybody have a pen? We'll give you the book later. Thank you.
At any rate, over our discussions of what you want in a soulmate, what you want in a husband. One of the things that Therese told me.
You're being
Rainbow.
obsessed by a rainbow.
Sorry, there's a rainbow here that everybody needs to see.
Hey, there's
In
one
fact,
in here
it's
too.
a
Get
double
over it.
rainbow. It's a double rainbow. Sorry.
Two people are in the
Anyway,
way
one of the
Venus.
things she desired is to find a man that was smarter than her. And so we started a search locally in Maricopa County. And that didn't work out so well, so we expanded to the entire state of Arizona. And, you know, there's not a lot of population out there is what I'm leading to there, so we went nationwide. Now, Therese is a smart gal, so to find a guy that's smarter than her or her mate, we went to the FBI next. She's got some connections over there, and we got some charts. Anyway, there were 5 guys that came out. And Dean was one of them, and since he was from the Great Badger State, we thought we'd go back to home. Try to find, you know, keep the team cool, right? Work ethics. Go Wisconsin, lucky. Anyway, when I met him, I thought, my God, she's found the guy. So, during the quiet time, Dean and I got to be kind of buddies, and I kind of wrangled out of him what he desired in a woman. And he said, you know, all I want is to find a woman that knows how to handle a gun. A high-powered gun. I love you both, and I wish you the best. But the lesson to be learned here is be careful what you wish for.